You've had a busy trip to Washington, D.C. from India.
Absolutely.
Tell us what brings you to Washington.
Well, we, as a political party, we thought we must reach out and let people know that we are also in the business of promoting trade and investment and strengthen the relationship between the two countries. So over a period of time, India and US have been very close to each other, but we need political support and people like us coming here to understand better practices in government and also to get some important takeaways that we can go back and implement back in our country. It's been a very interesting two-day trip to Washington, D.C. We met with a lot of senators and congressmen and, of course, the Secretary of Housing. Some of the points that we discussed really impressed us because as a young political party, we have to build a vision and something for the future. And the takeaways were excellent in our opinion, and this is something that's going to help our country and our people.
Let me ask you, we have listeners who probably are wondering, why should America care about what's happening in India and have stronger relations? So what message would you give to them?
You have to understand, the world 1/6 is the world population is in India. So what happened, India is the largest democracy. What happens in India, eventually it will reflect back in other parts of the world. So you cannot ignore what's happening in India. It's very much, it's quite essential for the rest of the world to know about it, and eventually it will influence. If some issue happens out there, here you can say the great workforce of Indians are there. So eventually it will hit the economy in very crucial sectors of business here.
So you mentioned trade as one. I know security is another relationship that's important between the United States and India. What other things would you like to see the two countries work more collaboratively together on?
You know, all around the world right now, the biggest thing is employment, right? So, you know, India has always supported the drive for technology and innovation in America. A lot of our young engineers have been coming here. They've contributed their time and effort into making some of the successful technology programs and missions out here. So I think we also need to focus on agriculture because that's the biggest employer back in India. And some of the best practices, the good technology that this country has been building upon is something that we can draw upon and take it back to India and see if we can implement those. The new areas of business, which is very keen for a growing nation like India, is clean energy, waste management, and of course, on the security side, we had to deal with terrorism like USA also had to deal with that issue. And we have collaborated very well on several specific programs, but I think the Government of India and the Government of America have come forward to sign agreements which enable the transfer of such technology, which earlier would be given only to NATO countries. So India is the third country after Japan and Korea in Asia to get that benefit, where sensitive technology which was available for security purposes is now being transferred to India.